I'm Anish, the co-founder and COO of Inertia.
I'm Marc. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Inertia.
I'm Kainoa. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Inertia.
Everyone's asking the same questions. What happens to prediction markets after the US elections? And the way that we see it, from starting from Codebase is, and so what we say now, it's going to be led by communities. It's going to be gamers on OTG. It's going to be people finding memes on TikTok. It's going to be, so many other things that people care about, and they all have communities that care about the same thing.
Prediction markets scale way more than just politics, crypto, and finance. That's kind of what the bulk of prediction markets are currently focused on. But if you kind of look at just in general, human behavior, right? Opinions are technically prediction markets. They can be prediction markets.
And so prediction markets allow people to have a depth of conviction, right? I'm gonna trust a guy that says, I put $1,000 down on this thing because I really believe it, versus a guy who didn't pay anything.
The future for prediction markets for us is anyone can kind of come into inertia.social, find a community that they actually care about, right? Whether that's anything like reality TV, esports, streamers, gaming, internet culture, not just, again, crypto, stocks, politics, whatever, and then they can just create a prediction market in under 60 seconds about whatever thing there is, and then just bet with their friends or bet within the community and that sort of stuff. So it's just democratizing prediction markets for anyone everywhere in the world. So that means you can create private markets with your friends to bet on what's gonna happen in the next episode of whatever reality TV show, or as Marc mentioned, off the grid leaderboard markets, esports, gaming. There's so many different niches that prediction markets actually cater to and have a fit in. They just haven't gotten there yet because they're so hyper fixated on politics, crypto, and finance. My journey into crypto actually started really young. So there was this Minecraft server I would play a lot of factions on and stuff, and they actually accepted Bitcoin as payment for ranks. So I go over to my dad, I'm like, Dad, let's buy this internet magic money, and obviously he's like, no, this is a complete scam, what's wrong with my kid, But he completely regrets that now, and that kind of sparked this little bit of an interest, where as I was coming into high school, I decided to kind of start diving into economics. I started trading stocks, and I traded crypto all throughout the first bull run. I did end up losing all $1,000 that I owned at the time, which I thought was the whole world's worth of money, obviously, but it kind of led into this other kind of branch where I decided to start exploring what apps there are, all that sort of fun stuff. So the latter half of high school, I started building a few things on chain, deployed my first smart contract, and then coming into college, I actually restarted up blockchain at UCI, the Collegiate University Blockchain Organization. And there I actually ended up meeting Marc, one of my co-founders, and Kainoa, the other co-founder.
So Anish and I actually met in my sophomore year of college. It was my first time, going to events at blockchain at UCI. I saw this guy, he was holding a panel, and he just had this crazy hair, and I had to go right next to him. And I was like, hey, thank you so much for holding this panel. And then we spoke for 2 hours. I've been interested in the blockchain space for a long, long time, but I never really recognized, another person who in the weeds as much as I was.
So I actually met Anish the first or second week of college. I didn't know anybody. My roommate said, hey, Anish is trying to restart the blockchain club. You should go and talk to him. Oh, but we're gonna go out tonight. So if you wanna meet him, you can't really be with us. So I'm like, do I do this? Do I meet this guy that I've never heard of? Or do I go with my friends? I'm like, what the hell? I'll talk to Anish. And then the conversation just sparked. He immediately got me interested. We ended up reforming the blockchain at UCI club together. I ended up becoming the director of technology, and things really just went off from there. I later got introduced to Marc, and we all just vibed really well together.
From that conversation, I joined blockchain at UCI as a research lead. So we did a bunch of projects. So any top protocol of mine, we probably worked with them. And then, we've gone to a bunch of ETH Denvers together. We've gone to a bunch of hackathons across the country. And we've just built up such a long and shared history together that once I graduated, I was like, hey Anish, rather than going full-time in something, can we work on something? And thankfully he was really, amenable to the idea. We spent a lot of time in summer just working on this prop trading firm for a little bit. And then we found ourselves in our prediction market space, just trying to find alpha, trying to find more investments, and we were just really disappointed in terms of these are the things that we care about, and we're just not finding them.
Yeah, and we like echoed these thoughts back and forth and had a ton of conversations about it. We were like, this is like kind of annoying. Like, we want to do more things within the space, the prediction market space, right? And then eventually one day I was just like, okay, like I'm in my dorm room, I'm just pacing around, like, you know, screw it, I'm just gonna call Mark. I call Mark, I'm like, hey dude, we should build prediction markets. Like, this is something that we see this obvious gap in, and we should do this. So again, we talked for a few hours, and I just remember like doing circles around my apartment at UCI, my dorm room, right? And I'm just literally talking to him, and that's kind of how the idea came out to be.
In terms of bringing people onto Inertia, we have this flywheel that we're thinking of, and it's in the very early stages, right? In terms of making a prediction as easy as possible, that's the first step. The next step is, you know, this is something that we observed in our closed beta, which is, it felt so natural for people to share a link to the predictions that they made that, you know, in a closed beta, that they just did it for fun.
We literally have a password protected site, so it's like very much a closed beta.
And, you know, we think that this behavior is going to continue while we scale past just the crypto community. It's really fun in the crypto community, but it's kind of boring if everyone's just in here and no one new is coming in.
Yeah. I think the other big thing with that is when you say the words crypto or blockchain to any regular person, lots of red flags and alarm bells start ringing, right? And it's because obviously we've had lots of these varying issues within the space. I think it is getting better, but I think blockchain as a whole is a tool to be used quietly in the back end to make the customers, the consumers' end experience much, much better. I don't think it should be kind of pushed out there and strewn because it does have this negative connotation amongst the general public.
And, you know, as we're thinking of building our product, there are certain things that we think of in terms of onboarding. So that looks like referring people to markets and earning money that way. Or it looks like participating in the jury system. So we have the system where if there's a really ambiguous market where there's no kind of source available, people can come and actually, you know, resolve a market if they wish in a democratic way. And all of these little tools that we build along in our product makes this huge suite of prediction market possibilities, right? And it's like giving people the tool to actually express their opinion in a new way that we're really excited about.
Avalanche was the right solution for our team for a lot of reasons, but the main reason that we're focusing on is their L1s. There's really nothing like it else in the blockchain space, and having multiple networks connected is such a valuable resource that nobody else can really provide on the scale that Avalanche is doing. Being able to use L1s with custom pre-compiles and their very powerful Hyper SDK framework is enabling us to give experiences to our users that really wouldn't be possible anywhere else.
We decided to build an Avalanche because of the hyper customizability we get with the L1s. I think Avalanche L1s are really the only piece of technology in the blockchain space that allow you to cater at such a low level to making your product better for your end users to build that next billion-dollar product.
And for us, this translates into faster execution speeds, you know, lower costs and fees. So this all translates back to the user, which is like, oh, I'd like to make a trade, I'd like it to be cheap, I'd like it to be fast on-chain.
And ultimately, we want to give any developers the ability to come in, use their SDK, and build on top of Inertia's L1. And especially with the WASM compatibility, you can now develop with C++, or Rust, essentially like non-Web3 languages that are already taught in schools. Solidity isn't taught in schools, but C++, and Rust are.
In terms of the support we've received from the Avalanche community, you know, everyone in the ecosystem has been super friendly to us. They've been supporting us in terms of following us on Twitter. They've essentially wanted to become our earliest users on our platform. At the roughest stage, this is really helpful for us because, you know, we want to iterate and not just stay stagnant like most projects do.
I think Codebase really equipped us with the tools to, tackle every piece of vision that we had and do it in such like an adept and controlled manner that really allowed us to forge kind of the path forward. And it was something that happened so fast and so quickly that we really didn't expect it at all.
The biggest technical challenge that I solved while participating in Codebase really was getting forward with our fully on-chain order books. It's something that hasn't been done before, and it's also something I couldn't have done alone We have a really great development team that I work hand in hand with, and the very talented people on that team have just put together something that has never been seen before.
I've had experience in some startups my freshman year of college. I've worked in VC, and I thought I knew how the experience should be, and I did not. But going through Codebase, we were, peppered with amazing mentors, great lessons, a speaking coach like Margot. And how has it helped us to shape the company? I would say an immense amount. I would say that Codebase probably helped us learn how to package the idea that we need to tell people and build the product as well to suit those needs.
I think there's never been a better time in crypto to be releasing consumer applications because of the underlying infrastructure, right? Like if you look back 2 years ago, we didn't have the infrastructure to make it so easy to access the blockchain that we have today. 2 years ago, it was super tedious and nothing was abstracted, but now we finally have all these really smart people building these really cool startups to make everything super, super easy. So while it's not up to the Web 2 par of, tooling, and it very much is startups building on top of startups, it's finally, in a place where you can build these consumer applications because the underlying infrastructure is there.
I also think it's the perfect time to build consumer-facing crypto apps at this time because we essentially suffered the 90s internet hype cycle in 2021 and 2022. It's possibly the quietest time right now to actually acquire users and actually have the least noise in giving people what they want.
With Inertia, right, like we give any community the ability to make markets and bet on what they actually are interested in so that they can prove that they're right, get these internet points either online, between friends, or anything between those realms.
We're building towards a future where people can express themselves in new ways that Web 2 just doesn't allow you to do. And we're making a stepping stone with Inertia, where everyone can eventually connect to all their favorite websites like Twitch, where they can watch their favorite streamers and bet on them right there. Or if they're in a private group chat, that they can message on the application and just, call their friends out on their bullshit. And just so many ways that we currently exist, but with a new dimension there.
The Avalanche team has been incredibly supportive, both within their technical DevRel and their documentation, but also providing things like the Innovation House, where we actually got to live and talk with other founders and share ideas, because you can't really find a lot of these resources online yet. So getting to talk to other people who are making somewhat adjacent projects in the same space and using the same technologies has been absolutely incredible.
I think the two coolest things about the Innovation House are, one, the people that make up the house as a whole. It's really inspiring to be around cool people doing cool shit. I love that so much. And then in the Web3 space, right? This is a scene where you can't really just easily Google certain things. So having other founders who have kind of gone down that path or similar paths, giving you feedback helps you a huge, huge amount. And the other thing is, we're from the States, right? We're all from California. Yeah. And we keep hearing these things about, stable coins or crypto and blockchain is really useful for inflation, et cetera, but we really didn't see that in action until we were here in Buenos Aires. And the interesting thing is I've talked to people at the gym, people outside, at stores and stuff, and while they may not know what blockchain is, oftentimes what they do know is I'm gonna get my paycheck, I'm gonna go to Binance, and I'm gonna convert it to USDC or USDT. So that way, my buying power stays kind of there. And it was really interesting to kind of see, that sort of perspective in action. So the Innovation House is really about people and perspectives, I think. I think our experience at the Innovation House has helped us shape Inertia in a sense that we now understand more at a non-US only centric level what product features people would actually want, how can we serve other global audiences beyond what we already know, right? We've grown up in the United States our entire lives. Everything we pretty much know has to do with the US. So getting this different perspective has kind of allowed us to think of our product in different ways and has allowed us to kind of start putting the stepping stones of being able to serve a global audience.